Yeah.
Because
Well,
they go down Vernon Boulevard.
They go down Vernon Boulevard and they're always out of tune, but it's great. Yeah. What's up, Basher World? Bashers?
Hey, bashers.
Who's
Bashies.
bashing? Bashies? Yeah.
Well, we do the bashing and they're the bashies. Correct?
That's right. That's true.
Before we do anything, I want to remind anyone watching on the Timeless Watch channel right now, this is not Watch Talk. I will mention what I'm wearing, but this is other stuff. I'm just putting it on here momentarily to bring you guys over, bring your attention over to the iBashers, which is a separate channel that you should subscribe to immediately.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I will punch you in the throat. Have you ever heard Philip DeFranco say that?
Yeah.
Subscribe or I will punch you in the throat. Yeah, so it's going out live on it now, but you should go over to the iBashers. If you're on Instagram and you click the link, you were probably sent to the right place. Just trying to get all you folks over here. You know, sometimes it's interesting to hear what your favorite watch YouTuber thinks of other things other than watches, and I'm at your service. Yes. So
who do we got? We got Kyle and Logan and Richard and Marcelo time. Well, hello. Fabio, Scott, Stephen Johnson, Joe. We got Martin Machina from Hanover, Germany. Hey, man, I've played your city many a time. That was our home base for touring when I was in the 90s, when I was signed to a German record company called SPV. Love your town, Hanover. Beautiful. Mark Gadd, Timepiece Adventures. Somebody named Ginge or Ginge. Jean-Claude. Bonsoir, Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude Biver. Luke. Kurt Cullen. Illicit. Welcome. Sif. Hey, Sif. I love
there's the link, the iBashers link. I just put it in the chat, guys. If you feel like going over there instead, no worries. If you don't, if you're too lazy to do it, or you've already gotten comfortable and you've moved away from your computer keyboard or whatever, that's okay. I understand. Been there, done that. But yeah. So
there
that's
used
just
to be a show in America when I was a kid. It was called Romper Room, I think it was called, and they used to take out a magic mirror and they would say all these names, and you would always hope that they would say your name. Of course, they couldn't tell who was really there or watching, but to be like, and I see Johnny and Sarah and Mary and Petra and all these crazy names. But now I can really say it. I see Kurt and Illicit and Christian and Jeriel. Welcome, Bashers. If you have anything you want to talk about, I mean, we've got a couple of headlines that we're going to discuss, but if you have anything you'd like, a direction you'd like to steer us into, give us a chat. Give us a
by
chat.
all means, yeah, right. Or super chat, even better. It'll bring up
the
attention. We'll see it. It's not about the money; it's about the attention. But obviously, hey, it helps. It's enthusiastic to see a little money come in. Why not? What am I wearing? I am wearing the Sea Dweller SD43, guys. Just for all the watch fans watching, most of you. Big red line SD43. This is the Mark I, the original, the 2017.
The original, yeah.
The real 50th anniversary. She's a big beaut. What are you wearing? You're wearing your Speedy?
I'm wearing my Speedy Reduced. Yeah.
Love it.
As always, with the most beautiful bracelet ever. Look at that. It shimmers like a diamond. Like a diamond. Like a diamond.
Fishing, golf, and guns. He's having vodka on ice. That used to be a go-to for me. Vodka on ice with no mixer. Oh, yeah.
Somebody just mentioned that Paulie Walnuts died. Did you see that? First of all, James Caan.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a big one, wasn't it?
It was. I mean,
unexpected.
He was getting on.
He was, but
he 88 or something?
No, he's 82.
He's 82.
I was watching a great interview with he and Francis's sister, Talia Shire. And they were having a lovely chat, and it was for 60 minutes, I believe. and she was hugging him. He's my big brother, and they were talking about, you know, how he's not Italian, but he's family, and it was great. And then 2 hours later, he's dead. I couldn't believe it. You
Wow.
know,
Yeah,
when
it's
celebrities die, I mean, you know, with Godfather, we're all super attached to that film, and he was so
yeah.
great in it. And a lot of people don't know. I mean, fans of my band would probably know, but our kind of biggest song was this song called Metal Sport on our first record. And it was all about rollerball. And who was the inspiration for rollerball but
Of
James
course.
Caan?
Rollerball.
Yeah.
A film I've never actually seen.
Yeah, well, they made a remake of it, I think, with LL Cool J, which was pure shite.
Shocker.
It was so bad. You know,
I'm
the
so
original was
shocked at that information.
amazing. I mean, they do Shaft, and they do all these great films from the 70s, 60s, and 70s. And when they do them, they're just. Did you know that? I know this is a film you don't get, which is still to me boggling. They remade Rosemary's Baby, and they made it kind of like, you know, today modern and blah.
I
blah,
heard
blah.
that. I heard about that.
And I watched about 15 minutes, and I went click. No
Fine.
thanks. I was just not into it. It was like it wasn't in the Dakota, and then I don't even know how they got on with the story. If they, you know, Ira Levin obviously wrote like Stepford Wives and a lot of really great horror of the time, the genre.
Right.
I didn't get this far enough to see if they had, you know, ruined it, but they probably, because that movie, there's a lot of un-PC stuff in there, what they call people and blah blah blah.
Sure.
You can't do that. You can't do that anymore. It's crazy. Larry Storch is dead too from F Troop. Do you know who Larry Storch is? Do you know what F Troop is? F Troop was a big show in the late 60s, 70s, and it's been on in syndication in America forever. And it was about a bunch of goofy guys in this in the army in the Civil War called F Troop. And it was kind of like Hogan's Heroes. They were schemers, but it also had some very politically incorrect Native American stuff,
Right.
you know, powwows and wigwams and
oh no, really?
You know, yeah, all of that, you know, all the reason why major NFL and MLB teams have had to change their names.
Right. Yeah, we're on a revisionist decade at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, you know.
But anyway,
so you know,
Diego's
my
in
dad
the
used to
house.
say about girls, like he used to say, who's the most beautiful girl in the world? High Noon, Grace Kelly.
Yes.
My father used to say, in his politically incorrectness, he goes, "Not much talent, but she was the town bicycle."
Oh God. Oh God. Are you in fact Dirk Diggler, Dirk?
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Dirk Diggler
Great movie, though.
will show his face though at some point here.
He's here, isn't he?
He's probably already here, is he? He probably is.
Yeah. No, I've seen that movie a couple times, and I think it's great. I just think that's a real letdown at the end because that penis looks so fake. It's like that. Wow, they really did a bad job on the stunt cock. Was bad.
The stunt cock. Never heard that before.
It was a stunt cock. Well, you know, in porno they have stunt cocks. Like they'll have like a big name guy, and then he can't get up to the business, and they'll have a stunt cock, like they do in films. Like Julia Roberts has never.
I thought about it, the porn industry. Since Viagra became a thing, it must have changed the porn industry in so many ways.
Completely did.
Because before that, you needed the guy who, with 20 crew around, at 10 in the morning, was able to, you know, just perform. He clearly had this kind of, you know, partition in his head. He's able to just like, I don't care if there's all those people watching me, and my best friend who dropped me off at the gig is sitting over in the corner eating a sandwich. I'm gonna pull her in two.
Ouch.
Ouch. Versus now it's just the pill. Boom.
Yeah, you're ready
Hooray.
to go.
Hooray. And one thing
I would imagine.
And one thing I've noticed a lot as well is a lot of fellas, surprisingly and strangely, some of the black fellas, like, you know, they're quite well hung, are all floppy, and I'm like, why? How did he not have a Cialis or a Viagra? Or
They're quite floppy.
they're quite floppy, and she's working on it hard, like all convinced, and you're like, how did he miss the meeting, or is the pill not? Did he
Maybe
get one of
he
the?
needed to take 2.
Maybe he got a placebo. Aren't all the fake ones placebos, or
I
they're
guess if he
just
went to
sugar
the
pills?
MexicanPharmaceuticals.com.
Right. Exactly. Maybe he wasn't able
He
to
wanted
pull
to
that one
save.
together.
Scrimping and saving.
Yeah.
Forget the $10 a pill. I got them for 10 for $1 from Guadalajara.
We just went from like dark stuff over to, we're very tone deaf right now, but that's just, this is the tangents of the eye bashers. Nathaniel says justifiably, Tony Sirico.
What was the circumstances under his death? He seemed quite healthy.
I don't know what's behind it. Homage Viagra. I like that. That's homage Viagra.
I don't take Viagra. I take an homage.
Homage to Viagra. I'll take an alternative.
It was originally conceived by Pfizer as a heart medication, and it was for like mitral valve or something. And they were like, why are all of these test subjects getting erections?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I dated one of those girls who, sold drugs to, small clinics around Brooklyn and Queens. She was one of those pencil skirt girls, pushing stuff. And she'd come over on dates and like drop a lot of stuff in my fridge going, I can't leave this in the car. It needs to be cooled. So I'll put it in your fridge. What movie are we watching tonight or whatever? It was so bizarre. But she was selling Cialis. And she was studying the whole thing. She had her books open on my coffee table. I'm looking at, diagrams of penises and the inside and how it all works. And she had to study it all. So she had all the answers. It was kind of nuts. She was the one who gave me Adderall for the first and last time in my life.
Me too. One and done.
My God. Never again.
Did you not love it, though?
No. It was the worst day of my life.
I told you what happened to me, right?
What happened
with that shit?
Did you clean the house 40 times?
No. I had this guy used to come into my old job, and he was a regular of mine, sweetheart guy, but I was sure he was blown out on cocaine. I was convinced of it because he was so hyper, and you know how coke people just don't shut up.
Right, yeah.
And I asked him one day, I said, how much blow do you do? And he goes, dude, it's not blow. I'm on Adderall. I have such bad attention deficit disorder. And
it saves a lot of saves a lot of people. By the way, this is inscribed PTWC. What was it? Crazy Cocktails by Oshin. A viewer sent it to me. It's
beautiful.
Yeah.
Is it sterling?
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's. It might be. Yeah, it might be. But it is really nice. And I was complaining that I didn't have a shaker, and I got an email from a very generous viewer, and he sent it to me inscribed TTWC.
That's
fantastic.
Amazing.
So I'm making margaritas.
How are you? Well, how'd you make it? Let's talk about your recipe.
No, you continue on your thing.
Oh, anyway, long story short.
Because mine has more tequila than it should have. Let's face it.
Okay,
so, yeah.
So he said, you should try it. I said, I've never done any drugs ever. He goes, it's not that. He goes, it gives you incredible amounts of focus. Okay. And I said, well, I could try that. So one day he gave me 4 of them, and I never touched them. And it was like a couple of days later, and I was in my studio, and I was trying to write songs, and I was coming up with nothing. I was having a bit of a dry spell. So I said, you know what, let me try one of these Adderall. So I cut it into 4 pieces, and I took a quarter of one. And nothing happened. With that. Okay. Well, I got a song in my head. I wrote it. I played it, every instrument on it, sent it to my guys. They were like, that's an unbelievable song. And it wound up being the first single off of our last record. And I immediately flushed everything down the toilet after I was done.
Because you were angry at the drug?
No, because I was like, I will get addicted to this because I wrote the song, played it, sang it, and everything that I did on that record, other than the lead guitar parts and the drums, are what wound up on the actual album. It was like studio perfect. There was so much precision going on. I was so precise about everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even the bass track. Was sadly I didn't have your Rick yet, so it wasn't that. But it created so much focus, and I was able to get so much done. And I probably did it in about 2 hours. All the instruments, all the vocals, all the background vocals. I didn't mix it. Obviously, our producer mixer did it in the end, but it came out so perfect. After I was done, and everybody said, "Oh my God, that's write another one." I was like, "Flush." I will get so addicted to this.
Yeah, because then you become dependent. So I wake up. I mean, she lived on Essex downtown, near the bridge there, the Williamsburg Bridge. So she has to go to work, and I get up, and she has this Adderall stuff, and she's on it like every 20. What was she? 24, 25. Anybody under 25 or 26 in New York is on Adderall. You know, everyone has ADHD. And
they don't.
I'm coming up to what was I 40 at the time, 39, whatever. Never touched this stuff before. I'm like, I'm gonna try one of these for shits and giggles. She goes, yeah, take that. And there's a 30 mil one. I should have had a 5 milligram.
That's what I took. I took 5.
It was a 30 mil timed release.
Ooh.
So I popped it, and then I got in her car. She's like, well, I'm heading to Brooklyn because I have all these appointments today, so I'll drop you off. And I said, yeah, drop me off. I think I'll go back to bed. We were up late. And she's like, you're not going back to bed. And I was like, nah, I'm pretty tired. I'll probably have another snooze. And she's like, oh my God, that's so cute that you think that that's going to happen. Well, it kicked in. Dude, I cleaned the apartment like 4 times. I called everyone in my phone, including old friends. I reopened old sessions that I hadn't finished, because people don't know this. When you write songs and you produce stuff, every song you hear, there's like 20,000 others you never finished. There are beginning ideas and a lot of stuff that even got to the studio and was tracked, but you just never finished it. Finishing a project is an art in itself. And oh man, I opened loads of stuff and finished or continued work on them and so on. And then what would happen is the time release, it was 4 time releases. So it was divided like that in quarters. And it would fade then. I'd be like, oh, and I'd sit down on the couch and be like, because it's speed. And I sit down on the couch, I'm like, oh, because I'm not a guy I never put powder in my nose or anything like that. Neither did you. Right.
No.
And amazingly, we're in the music business for so long. But then
drugs aren't cool, man.
Then it kicks in again. Then the next timer releases, and then I'm like, bing, like a rabbit, and I'm around the house again and doing all, and it's exhausting me over and over again. So I've been dragged through some sort of car wash. And by that was at 9 a.m. I took it. And by 6 p.m., then I think the last one faded. And I literally lay on the couch going, please don't start again. Please don't. And that was that. That was my experience with Adderall. But a lot of people changes their life. I didn't learn Chinese. Yeah, I didn't figure out an algorithm for the stock market.
That movie was great. That was so great.
It was good. It was good. So it's like a dream we all have to learn languages in 5 minutes and so on.
5 minutes. Your brother does that.
Yeah, without drugs. He does that without drugs. Yeah, he came back from Turkey after 10 days there singing traditional songs.
Yeah, he's
in their language. Yeah, he's got a funny ability. That guy. Ooh, it's a bit scary.
Languages are his thing. They just he's really great.
He latches onto languages. Yeah, he's really good with that.
He could be like Hoshi Sato from Enterprise, you know.
Adderall's
communications
chemical
officer.
cousin is meth.
Yay!
They're similar properties. Okay. Wow.
Yay.
Well, it
Well,
doesn't
but
surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. We're 20 minutes in. We haven't even talked really about our subjects other than James Caan, R.I.P. James Caan. We'll always remember. I mean, for me, it'll always be Sonny.
Sonny.
It'll always be Sonny. He's like, bada bing, you know, all of that. He inhabited that role. And we've all seen those B-roll things, clips where De Niro is auditioning for the same role as Santino, Sonny, and he doesn't have the same pizzazz. And Alec Baldwin put out a really cool thing yesterday on Instagram, just saying that he knew him well. And though he was famous for playing the bad guy on the screen, he was actually such a sweetheart. And that he taught him a very important lesson, which he didn't expound on. I wanted him to go into it, but an important lesson of how to swear on camera, on screen, on the silver screen. It's not the same as swearing in real life. There's a different approach you have to have. And that's all he said. I'm like, oh, I want to know what the secret
I want to know.
is.
Well, he's not going to give that away.
He's not going to give it away because it's
Alec Baldwin is he curses well on. It's got gravitas.
You know what I've learned is that when you pull back on the curse, it has more gravitas. So it's the same thing as when Mozart would introduce a melody and he'd pull the orchestra back in volume, and a new melody, instead of blasting it in your face, he would play it very quietly, and we'd all be paying attention because of that. And I noticed that Alec Baldwin pulls back on his, because since he said that, then I'm looking at clips, kind of trying to figure out what it is. I think it might be that you pull back. We had an argument years ago, myself and our singer, because he goes, traffic was shit today in King Solomon. Yeah. And he kept going, traffic was shit today. And I was like, you don't need to push shit. Shit is a strong enough word. It works itself. Just say traffic was shit today. That's enough.
It's very conversational the way I know the song very well. But just the way he goes, the traffic was shit today.
He doesn't just, yeah. And then he goes, how traffic was shit today. And he pushes it. And he left it on the record. He refused.
Oh, did he?
Oh, he left it on the record. He was adamant.
More reason why I don't know that record. I know the live versions because he never did it live. He goes, the traffic was shit today.
Yeah, with time, he eased into it. If you listen to later on lives, he eased into just saying traffic was shit today was enough. I remember telling him in the studio, don't push shit. You don't have to. You don't have to. The word itself is strong enough. But so it might be a thing like on screen, on camera. You don't have to go. You can go, fuck you, and it's enough because it carries. Because the equipment, because the camera, because the audio is taking care of everything else, and all you have to do is say the word. That's my guess. And if it ever comes out, I'll be watching. We have some super chats, so I better get to them.
Yeah, that's good.
Super chat. Alejandro Caballero.
Alejandro.
I'm literally getting a pedicure with my fiancée at a salon right now. Wow.
Do you feel
I
emasculated?
could use one. No, I could use one right now. I loved in New York. I'd go down to Emily's Pedicures.
Emily's Spa.
Emily's Spa down on.
They were at it for a time offering happy endings until they got in trouble for it.
No, they weren't. Were they?
One day the FBI, the police, they circled that joint and they got shut down. It was in all the papers.
It was so clean and expensive looking. I'm surprised they had
to. I went in there once for a pedicure and it was like $70. It was amazing. He says $20. They're like, oh, for women. I'm like, it's much easier for men. You're not painting my toenails.
I had them painted. I had them varnished one time. It was shiny.
Did you?
Yeah. People were going, yeah, that doesn't look right on a dude. But anyway. And we both just got served some margaritas while listening to you guys, and I'm loving it. Look at that, Alejandro. I hope you're enjoying that. So I see you must be in a nice one that they're giving you.
You get pampered, boy. Yeah, something very. You get the little foot massage and the calf massage. It's nice.
Cucumber water for customers only. What's that from, guys? you don't know the show, but they'll know. They'll know. Cucumber water for customers only. Ray's in the house, 1989.
Hey, Ray.
Handcuffed.
Handcuff,
Bedhead.
bedhead.
Israel. Capri
Capri.
Sun. What is he saying? What is he? He speaks
Do you
in
want us to
code,
talk
Ray.
about those things? I like it. 89 handcuffed. That's a story that we don't talk about. Bedhead. Okay. Israel. You don't want us to go there.
Yeah, you
Capri
see, there
Sun.
it is. Better Call Saul.
I have to start that show.
He didn't write it. He didn't write it correctly, but that's okay. He typed it as fast as he could so he could beat everyone else, and he did. And Diego came in with the same, and so did Stephen Buckley. Cucumber water for customer only. Why are you laughing?
Because that's so politically incorrect, but I love
I know, but it's great.
But I spent my whole life impersonating people, the way people talk. And somebody said to me, "You can't do that." I'm like, "Come on, it's funny. It's comedy. Have we eschewed all comedy because of people are going to be sad? They're going to be upset."
The one people in the world you can do that with, and there's no problem. The
Irish people. I know.
Tell the Irish they're drunks.
A lot of gay dudes don't care either because it's like, listen, girl, and all that stuff. If you want to just sashay out of the closet, it's fierce. Like today there was I was dealing with this, oh God, this vapid thing. My God. I was like, talking with us. I remember I was like, oh my God. I was like, where did she learn to talk like that? She was with some guy. That wasn't her boyfriend because he was gayer than Christmas. And it was like, I was like, on my hair. And it was like, and it was like, and I was like, and it was like, and I was like, how does anyone understand her? You need subtitles.
I was like,
it was like, and it was like, oh, and I was like, you're so rude. Oh my gosh, so raw, so rude. What is that? But I like when people do impersonations, and if it's done in the style of comedy and not in a mean way, I don't think there should be a problem with impersonating.
And you know that Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, they walked that very thin line where they had to show cultures and they had to be a little tongue-in-cheek to bring the point over, and no one was going to call them out on it. You know what I mean? Because they were so damn accurate,
Right? Yeah, it's interesting how when people do go that route and don't get in trouble for it. Like some people are Teflon and they're allowed to do what they want, but some people, the second they do it, they're, immediately canceled. So yes. I guess it's context. Well, in life, context is everything, isn't it? I had a guy who came in one day and said, you for Queens, blah, blah, talking like this, and, everything's fine. And, he's like, oh, you're from Queens, I'm from Queens, blah, 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 and thinks I'm one of his guys. And it turns out we're not the same people in any way. And then he goes, you know what? I can't stand all the fucking bleep. And it was a racial epithet. And I was like, oh,
there
wow.
we are.
You give people enough rope, and
gotta be careful.
But you can almost bait people into being just like out and proud racist assholes.
Just make them feel comfortable enough, and then they
make them feel comfortable, and they'd be like, what? I can't stand all those fucking bleep. I'm like, oh, that's what we're dealing with. Nice.
Justin Bailey, he says he's on the right channel now, so he's over on iBashers. That's where you want to go, guys. It's exactly the same stream happening at the same time in parallel. But this is where eventually I will not be showing this stuff on the Timeless Watch channel, because the Timeless Watch channel is about watches, timeless watches. Right. So go over there, guys. There's just another reminder. Better Call Archie Luxury. That's good. I like it. So, in the news. The Highland Park shootings, horrific. There's the father, by the way. You have special feelings about this fella, huh?
I do. I think he should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, because He's
He
obviously has
signed
a
out. He was the
child.
sponsor for the weapons, right?
Yeah, this kid is so troubled and has so much mental illness. And if you're on the right, you're going to blame mental illness, but if you're on the left, you're going to blame the guns. Well, I blame him because there's no way in anyone's book that kid should have had access to guns, and he never would have got them if it weren't for his dad. And his dad was arrogant enough to say, I don't feel any responsibility whatsoever, no fault whatsoever. Of course, it's all your fault. You should be prosecuted alongside him. You gave him the ability to murder those people.
Well, yeah, he helped, but he didn't actually break the law by doing so. He just sponsored.
No, he didn't break the law.
He said it was down to the laws to cover those things. The background checks were made. They were done. The guy got the guns legally. He didn't even modify, because automatic weapons are banned in the United States. Semi-automatic are not, so you have to keep pulling the trigger over and over if you want it to keep firing. But there is a mod you can get, and I know a lot of you guys in my audience are gun aficionados, so you can help me with the terminology. There's some sort of mod you can buy that can attach to a semi-automatic that can effectively turn it into automatic, and it's one of these loopholes. Yeah. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying that it's there. If you guys want to help me out and tell me what that terminology is.
It's the same way we mod computers and phones, and you
it's
go
like
out there if you're
overclocking your processor or your graphics card.
It's the same thing. I want to be able to put my finger on the trigger and have it keep firing. Well, I want more processing and more threads on my processor.
Okay, thank you, Joe Tyson. It is the bump stock.
That's what it is.
That's exactly the term. Thank you so much. And of course, lots of other people got it.
Yeah,
Ethan, you see, there's a lot of gun aficionados in here, and I don't want to offend you guys. I know that you hold it very dear to your heart, the right to have these things. I mean, literally now, Dirk, if you were ever in doubt about how many gun nuts are in the audience.
Gun nuts. Hey,
sorry, fellas. Sorry,
gun nuts.
Bunker nuts. Nah, sorry. It's just it's like not something I completely relate to, I have to say. And but if there was any doubt, look, they're all there. They all know it.
Wow, you guys are on fire.
No wonder I lost like 50 subs and evoked the ire of some dude who started subscribing me to all sorts of bizarre websites about guns and homeland security after that episode we did a few weeks ago. Sure. Because they're definitely there. So okay, that's great. And again, I respect your right to hold that dear.
But isn't that aiding and abetting a criminal? Isn't it? Isn't it really? Like, I think in any other society, that father would be in trouble. I think it's just the way the language is written here in the United States that he'll get away with that. But this is a kid who had history of mental illness, history of violence, threats. Threatened everybody. This kid's threatened everyone. He had a manifesto. People knew about it. So I
hate to be a simplistic, judgmental guy, but did you see the photos? I mean, the poor fella, like.
No, he looks like the type of guy that's
going to. Here in Italy, they say sfigato, like he's so unlucky. Like life just shit on him. He's not handsome. He doesn't have to look like that, though. He doesn't have to get face tattoos. No, but just
he doesn't have to look like
in his eyes and his demeanor and so on. He looks so, sfigato doesn't mean necessarily that you're not well built or tall. You can see a tall, muscular man, handsome man in Italy, but then they'll turn and say, "Oh my God, he's so sfigato," because when he speaks, his demeanor, whatever about him, is a little bit sfigato. It's a little, oh, Jesus, the poor fella, And I mean, I saw that guy's photo, and of course now there's all these things coming out that there were multiple calls to the home, domestic disputes.
Classic.
He threatened the family. Okay, so here's the question that I want to bring up. Can it be stopped? Because people are saying, didn't someone see the signs? He had all sorts of stuff on his Facebook and on his Instagram.
Everyone saw it.
And now, what did the police do? because you're talking about a country of free speech. I mean, you can be facetious, you can be joking, you can be not so serious. You can be in a writ of fellas jage, as I said before. You can be in a moment that you're just freaking out, and what you say, then you sober up the next morning, whether it be on alcohol or just anger or whatever you're drunk on, and then you go, shit, I shouldn't have said that, and then you go find your Facebook and you delete what you said, or you don't really mean, you scream at your wife, I'm going to kill you, but do you really mean? So at what point does law enforcement, and you have to remember, police have to act on the letter of the law. Okay, that's their job description. Whether that happens or not is another discussion completely. But they have to work on that. At what point can they just intervene on some kid who's been shouting and screaming and saying all sorts of stuff and say, okay, you're a threat? Because that, to me, as far as I can see, is playing with the very freedom that you guys
well, we
are proud of.
You have the freedom to go out and buy whatever kind of firearm you want, but nobody has the freedom to go to a parade, to go to a concert, to go to to a marathon. No one really wants to go do those things. It's going to, because of the escalation of this kind of violence, people are going to stop going to parades and going on the subway. I mean, there was that incident a couple of weeks ago here in New York where the guy just opened fire on everybody in the subway. It's just insane. And you have to say, when does it stop? How does it stop?
Now, what would you do if you were the commissioner or you're the chief of police?
I would immediately ban all semi-automatic weapons. There's like I've said this on this channel many times, I don't think any civilian on the planet Earth, other than somebody in the armed forces, needs to have a weapon that can mow down people. Right. En masse. I just don't, there's no reason for it. You're not doing that with deer or cans in the desert. There's no reason to have it. You can go play with them at a range. You can make it be available to you at a range.
Okay, but to steer you back again toward the actual question, is there an intervening that you can take
for this kid?
I'm talking about making a law whereby if the neighbors, apparently if the family make multiple complaints and that they're worried, if the family call the police multiple times and say, we think our son is going to go to school with a machine gun tomorrow, then they can actually go to the house. But if the family don't make any complaint and it's just stuff online, which could be many things, like you could be rapping, you could be musical and artistic, going, I'm going to fuck you all up. Do you really mean you're going to kill? Like, what about Cop Killer, the old rap album from the 80s?
Ice-T.
Was that Ice-T? It was Cop Killer. And then he wound up on Law and Order. That's funny. That just clicked right now. He's an actor in Law and Order. That's funny. Anyway.
Yeah, well, he went from that to like being a cop on Law and Order.
Right.
Yeah. It was entertainment in a very strange way.
It was political art, and there's nothing wrong with political art. I'm a big supporter of it. I love at a concert when an artist gets political. Shit, they're on a bloody stage, and we're all cheering for them. What better podium is?
Well, that's the thing that bothers a lot of people whose voices feel stifled because they get mad at the Hollywood elites or the musicians for talking about their politics. You know why? Because you don't have a big enough platform. Those people have the platform.
They have the platform.
However they obtained it is their business. There's the internet. That's why people get mad. I have a friend who's like the Hollywood elite, the cabal, all that crap. Well, they're famous. They have their platform is just bigger than yours.
We also look up to them, and they're also a vehicle for a message. When I was growing up listening to rock bands, they were giving me a message, and I was learning. I was learning a lot. I was learning from Rush, from Neil Peart's lyrics. I was learning. That guy was into Ayn Rand. Yeah, sure. And I was, then interested in what Ayn Rand had to say. I think I'm not a big Ayn Rand fan, but anyway.
I mean, I read all her stuff, and I was like, she crazy. She's a selfish bitch, at the end of the day. It's just about being a cunt,
Yeah, she ran away. She ran away from socialist Eastern Europe. came to
Yeah.
America, and then she had resentment toward that entire thing.
Sure.
I think Christopher Hitchens put it perfectly, and he's like, I don't read Ayn Rand because why does anyone need to remind humans to be more selfish? You haven't been paying attention. We've already got it covered. But no, but you know, they have a platform. I don't know how we got onto this, but anyway,
Because we're eye bashing.
Because we're eye bashing, we're just hard left, hard right. But the fundamental question here is, because everyone's turning to the cops and saying, couldn't you have done better? And I'm going to get onto the Japanese former prime minister assassination in a moment, because it does reflect similar issues. And there have been statements by the police saying it's our fault that we didn't prevent it. So it's actually a beautiful other example of the opposite thing. But people are turning to police saying, why didn't someone home in on that fella? Why didn't somebody take steps? He was saying on YouTube videos, I'm going to do it. It's my destiny. It's all I can do. And so on. Do you make law to stop someone from saying these things? Because if you do, you have to know you're on a slippery slope toward Stalinism, right?
Sure.
You have to know that. Fascism, it's modern day fascism.
Yeah.
They arrive at your door, the Stasi from East Germany, right? They arrive at your door. You've been writing poetry about such and such and such. That's an offense to our government. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. Yeah. Which is everything America is against. You should have the freedom to go on and make a record. Sorry, go ahead.
No. J. Kidd. Dirk, I agree with more review and waiting periods, but it's a very big and diverse country. People that live out there, I'm assuming you mean in the rural America, have very different defense needs than those in New York City. I would say I need much more defense than you do, because I live in a crime-riddled, crime-addled town where people get mugged and shot and stabbed and riddled on the subway. So I don't know. What are you talking about? Bears? Do you need an assault rifle for bears? I would like for you to be clearer on that, because I don't know what you need an automatic weapon for.
I need them for bears.
Is this for mountain lions? What is that for? So what different? I live in a way more dangerous place than most people. Assault rifles were designed for one thing, and that's to kill as many people as is possible for military use.
Remember the old rule with bears. If you're at a camping park and a bear arrives, you don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the slowest runner. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I hate to be. I'm throwing in comedy here.
I mean, it's funny because this is a testy thing.
Saturday night. Come on, guys.
You know.
Yeah. It might be the margarita.
I'm not saying like, and you guys know that I'm a pretty moderate guy. I think if you want to have a pistol in your pocket and you want to be a pistol packing mama or daddy, I think you should. Why not? My dad had one. My sister had one. We owned a bar. You know, people will mug you. I think you have the right to defend yourself. I believe 100% in that. I just don't think assault rifles fall into the same category. They just don't, because nitwits like this moron and his dumb dad, who I hope somebody uses an assault rifle on that motherfucker, because I'm tired of all of these kids that's paralyzed kid for the rest of his life. They went to a parade. They can't even enjoy the 4th of July.
Yeah.
They can't.
Incredibly sad.
When I went to see Paul McCartney, I was like this.
Oh, you were looking around.
I was.
Oh,
because the security wasn't paying attention.
Right.
They weren't. They didn't, how much can they do? I would I feel safer if I had the Fountainhead. The Fountainhead is tough.
Sure.
Yeah, she's she was not a very nice lady. That's the art of being selfish, and that's whatever.
Well, you know,
so that's my sense of it.
Yeah. Just very quickly, Rush, Neil Peart, rest in peace, and my favorite guys ever, Peart. You're right, Peart. Latched onto the idea of individualism and freedom of expression that she also preached, which was very nice. But anyway, let's move back to the other thing. Anyway, yeah, the whole question is that, like, at what point and how much would the police have on their plate? Getting calls constantly going, oh, there's a weirdo young man next door, and he wears weird makeup, and he has odd clothes, and he seems angry to me. And then the cops, they show up at the door, and some weird guy, he just likes Marilyn Manson music or something. He's not going to kill anyone, but he gets pulled in for questioning. Now we're East Germany in 1960. Like, what the hell are we talking about? They can't home in on every young, disgruntled child, teenager who's been ignored by the girls in school and hates the world. And they can't. Mm-hmm. If they had any idea this guy had these intentions, of course they would have done something, but you just can't know. At least that's my argument. I'm not sure anything could be done. And the father was like, oh, we have to come together and to create laws to prevent this from happening. How about a law that prevents the dude from just purchasing weapons? Now,
that will never work in this country.
Let's move to Japan. So the former prime minister was just shot to death the other day. That's incredible news. If that happened in the United States, it would be the biggest news for a year, right?
Yeah.
It's the biggest news over there right now, but we're so separated from them. It's news, but it isn't reverberating. This is like, I know it's not maybe as important as JFK being assassinated, but he's there doing a political speech on the street, and a guy walks up and shoots him twice with a handmade shotgun.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Guns are really hard to get there. So previous assassination attempts, and I've seen photos where which is super cool, right? Super Japanese, where with swords. There are guys coming right up and go, hi-ya! Right? And just stabbing the guy through the heart with a small katana or a ninja kan or something like that, right through the heart, right? Because guns are really, really hard to purchase there. This guy built the thing. He dropped the thing, and there's photos of it, and it's like a home-fashioned thing. He used gunpowder from fireworks to shoot the rounds, and he had 2 rounds, and he used them both. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was. It was the middle of the night. I was doing some work, and I saw that he was shot, and it said he was in stable condition, and he was talking to the paramedics. I was like, wow, that so doesn't happen in Japan. And then in the morning, he was dead. I couldn't believe it.
It bled too much. Wow. If it goes through your abdomen, that's really hard to sew up. It just keeps bleeding from so many different positions, so they try and patch it all up, but it's really hard. It's just a matter of time. Be much better if it was there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But those parts, it's so hard to sew everything up. There's so many different points.
Imagine being a triage doctor and on a front line. Yeah. You watch MASH or any of those great films, and it's just people being mangled. But in the end of the day, think about it, like the Fermi paradox and all that stuff we talk about so often, that's going to happen because we are such a hateful brand of shit as a species that we have all these things. And I mean, there's bad people and they have to be controlled.
You're talking about the great filter?
Yeah, the great filter.
One of like 1,000 answers to the Fermi paradox.
Yep.
Just to specify for the audience, because you brushed over that real quick.
Wow.
So one of the answers is the great filter, and that is that societies around the universe, once they gain intelligence and autonomy, and just as they become space colonizing, possibly interstellar, they blow themselves up. They kill themselves because they can't handle whatever technology would actually really get them off the planet and flying across the universe. Anyway, that's
it's definitely going to happen here.
Yeah, because we can't figure our shit out.
We can't figure out.
We're not even agreeing among ourselves, let alone going out into space and disagreeing with.
I mean, for the idea that people can't understand that, and yes, I know that it's the size of the clip. I know that the pistols are semi-automatic as well. I know it's the size of the clip, but it's a sizable difference having that big a clip to be able to just mow people down. For the life of me, I just don't understand how anyone thinks. Like, and then the Second Amendment, we've been down that road already. I think it should be completely rewritten. These are fucking 500-year-old people, dead. The world has moved on, and it does not work for now. It doesn't. Why are we holding fast to something that's so archaic? Why? It just makes no sense to me. Our founding fathers, they were racists and misogynists, and they were slave owners. They were assholes. I mean, come on. We need to step it up as evolving human beings. You can have that amendment, just tweak it so it works now.
Amended.
Keep things
Amended.
Amend the amendment.
As it was amended already.
Right. That's
Jason
what
Dalton,
amendments
199. Swords and guns illegal in Japan for the peasantry. Is that true? That's interesting.
Well, the elite do. I mean, the Yakuza have guns because they're elite
$10.
murderers.
July 4 weekend. 10 people were shot and 62 injured in Chicago. Do you mean 10 people were died from shots? Okay. Eclipsing the parade toll. That's every weekend. The scandal is that people only pay attention to when it's white people getting shot. Yeah, that's an extra fold to the whole thing.
Sure.
Is that a lot of people get shot anyway, as you just mentioned. I mean, think of Brooklyn, think of Atlantic Avenue. How many people getting shot and stabbed on a Friday night? What's it like to be in the triage there?
I grew up in Jamaica. Somebody got shot every day when I was a kid.
Every day. Yeah, Jamaica's pretty rough.
It was black on black violence.
Yeah, my experiences in Jamaica were always really daunting.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Because it's not news. It's just their life. They're so accustomed to it. And it doesn't make the headlines because it's just something it's de rigueur to them. They're just, it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. Yeah, isn't that true? You're right, Nathaniel. You are right.
Now, there's
it's
nice,
like when that beautiful little blonde, little blue-eyed 8-year-old boy is going to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. But to be fair, he was just at a parade licking an ice cream cone, watching, honoring the nation. He wasn't, his mom wasn't a crackhead, and they were in squatters in some bed sit down in South Jamaica, Queens.
Sure.
I mean, of course,
Slightly Buzzed, $10. I'm pro Second Amendment, but you'll never lose me as a sub for having a different opinion. That's the spirit.
That's the spirit. We're, we'll have a beer one night and we'll talk about that, and then Roger Waters being a lip syncer, which has destroyed my entire world.
You didn't know that.
I didn't. How did I not know?
I already knew that.
I didn't know that. I just didn't know it. I almost feel like he's a
too
complete
old.
Fraud now. I don't care.
He's not a fraud. He's
sings shitty.
He's oh yeah. Well, he will anyway. Yeah. Roger's voice was never that strong in the first
I watched
place.
him. He's like, so you thought you might like to go to the show. It was amazing. And then I'm like, oh, fuck.
Because you found out he's lip syncing. He's not, it's not all lip sync.
No, not all of it, but
parts of it are really him, and that's all he's got in him for 5 minutes, and then they let it lip sync, and then he's got more energy. He's an old man. In his 70s.
In my world, and here's a hard right, hard left. In my world, like I watch all these rock bands and who's got shit in the toaster, because most of the time when you guys go to a concert, if it's a big show, there's going to be some pre-recorded strings, keyboards, background vocals. That's been going on forever and ever. I don't have so much a problem with that, but I do have a problem when lead singers are faking it. I mean, it's like, that's shitty. And for somebody who is, so a guy like Roger Waters has so much respect from the musical community, not so much from the right, but a lot from the left. When he's doing that, I guess he's just a political guy. He's just out there to preach. And
I don't think it's just, I don't think it stops there. I think he's an old man and he represents a huge legacy in music. I almost feel like when he does pass away, the concerts will continue with him as a hologram.
So this is just Kiss, and everybody makes fun of them.
It depends what kind of artist you are. I think I have never had a problem with it with Roger. I know that
how long have you been onto that?
for a while, because
We've
for
gone to see
one, you
Roger
see his
together.
bass playing. He's not the bass. Yeah, we saw Roger together in Yankee Stadium.
We did.
We did, with that enormous screen.
We
that
were
just
so
went on
close. It was
forever.
almost pointless. We were so close. It was like,
It was just so huge. You nearly need to be at the back at the nosebleeders to actually really enjoy the spectacle. But it's so programmed, and it's a cinema thing.
Sure.
He's almost there as just, he's a character, he's a puppet on the front of a cinema thing that is Pink Floyd and all his music. And I never had a problem with that. He's so, like, he's a well-built older man. He's lean and stuff. But he like, there's no way he's holding that bass down. Like, those bass lines, they're too important for Roger to be left. Oh, you know, they're just in 7/4, amazing, one of the great bass lines in history. And you know, ding 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 ding, a brick in the wall, right? You know, they're very important bass lines, and he's trying to sing, and he's 70, 100 years old or whatever he is, and he, there's no way he's holding that bass.
Is he 79?
I don't know what age he is. He's pushing 80, so there's no way he's holding that bass down and singing. It's okay. We digressed heavily, but it's okay. Like, it's, for me, it was never an issue. He just represents the message that is Pink Floyd, and he's singing certain parts of it for sure, and other parts he's not singing. He's never much of a singer in the first place. For his new show, no.
Yeah, it's so great. Like, you know, he's in the round and it's cut into like quarters, and this screen comes up and it goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin. 2 public announcements before we start. Please turn off your cell phones so you don't annoy your fellow patrons. Second, if you're one of those people that says, I love Pink Floyd, but I hate Roger's politics, well, then you do better to go fuck off at the bar." And then the show starts.
That's the beginning. I love that. I love that.
It does. And then they go into comfortably numb.
Just play the songs and leave your politics out of it. I've got bad news for you. The songs are the politics too.
I've got bad news for you, moron. Sunshine.
I've got some bad news for you, sunshine. That's beautiful. How did you come up with that, man?
Because you just said it.
You're so fucking fat. I've got some bad news for you, sunshine.
It's not
Pink
what
ain't
you
well.
expected to see.
Yeah. Pink isn't well. He's
back at the hotel.
So they sent in
with a surrogate band. Yeah, come on.
Oh my God, that was fast, dude. You're very fucking fast. I'll never get over it. I'll never get over it.
I injected those records intravenously.
Shane McQuirk sent $5, but never left a question. Shane, put your question in if you have one.
We're tired of talking about guns. And by the way, what a shame though for Japan, because they've, you know, God, what a fucked up history that they have, and they've been, you know, since the U.S. used nuclear weapons on them, the only country in the world to use nuclear weapons on anybody. They have been the scion of peace and respect and dignity and all of these things. Like, that is a culture that, like, Germany tries to do that unsuccessfully because they still have Nazis and fascists. Japan really got that. Like, they're like the Vulcans, you know. And you know, everybody who knows me knows I love Star Trek shit. The Vulcans were a very violent race because of the way their emotions played out. So they banned emotions, and the sector of their species that decided to continue to be horrible are the Romulans. That's something that the Romulan we find out later on. But the Japanese were able to completely and utterly change their way of thinking. And I mean, like World War II, they were brutal. If you got captured by the Japanese, you were such big trouble.
They were also pretty brutal to the Vatican. We've all seen that Martin Scorsese movie, right?
Yeah.
As the Vatican tried to spread this message throughout the world and was killing. I mean, the Irish, we suffered it. Africa, God help them. If you didn't convert, you were in trouble. They reached Japan. The Japanese would drown them on the coast. They would whip them and torture them and drown them to send a strong message back to Italy saying, we don't want to hear about your nonsense guy in the sky.
Imagine
crap.
if somebody
we have our own 6,000-year-old culture. Thank you very fucking much.
Shinto.
Have you seen that Scorsese movie? Yeah, Shinto.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Crazy that you don't think what I think. Yeah. I'm done. You know what I
think?
I'm done convincing people of, if I love a band or I love an artist, I'm done trying to coerce them into understanding why they're so great and then why they should like them, because they just don't like them. Why would I try to convince? I've never done that. That's amazing. Somebody will say, I don't like Kate Bush or I don't like, whomever. And I'd be like, really? And the last one was, ready for this? And Moose is going to kill me. But maybe. So his wife, who I adore, we tried to turn her on to Mr. North. She wasn't getting it. I'm like,
fair enough.
What?
That's my band I was in for years, guys.
Yeah. I'm like, well, wait. Because listen, he's my friend, but I love his band. And that's why we're friends, because I used to go to his shows all the time. And he's like, what song should we play for her? And I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know what she likes. LCD sound system. She likes different kinds of music. And I said to him, listen, if King Solomon doesn't do it, or Bring It On doesn't do it, or if these are the songs that don't, and I'm a deep cut guy with his band, the hits, so to speak, aren't my favorite songs. I said, I don't know what's going to do it. So, you're married to the woman. She likes what she likes, and she's going to like what she likes. And that was the thing. I was like, because I love most of the songs. I don't think you have any shite. I don't think you ever put out any crap. I don't think you did. I don't think so.
So she wasn't into it. Listen, you should never try.
She listened to she listened to all of your first record, and she didn't get it. And he said she's got to listen to everything. And then I said, you know what? I've just really been rediscovering.
I didn't realize Moose was such a fan.
Oh, Moose is a very big fan. He loves.
I didn't realize.
Moose, by the way, is my friend and my neighbor. Lived across the hall from me for years, decades.
He's a lawyer.
We're friends. He's a lawyer, and he's a great guy, and he loves Def Leppard. It's his favorite band.
Greek American.
And he watches the show, so he's going to be like, "Oh my god!"
So he's going to be pissed off. We talked.
No.
We've had some good nights with Moose, and we've had a lot.
We had
of
the
wine
best
with
nights with Moose. He's great, and he's a big Def Leppard fan. But he loves Mr. North, and he's like, you know what? I've been trying to get her into it.
Never try to convince someone to get into anything. Just let them find it themselves.
Right.
Just leave it there.
I spent my whole life trying to do
walking into an apartment and there's a cat and you walk over to pet it. Never do that. You sit, you talk to the guest, and the cat will find its way to you in its own good time. And it's the same thing with music and movies. Yeah, you would go straight to the cat, and the cat would be like, fuck off.
No cat's ever told me to fuck off.
Okay, that's good. But it's like with a movie. Oh my God, it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. You have to see it. Then you see it and you're like, yeah, it was all right. Whereas if you just said, you know what? Check out that movie. It's not bad. Then they watch it with an open heart and an open mind. It's the same thing. You have to find stuff.
You have to do it.
And also there's a personal thing. A lot of people feel personal joy that they've discovered something. If you give it to them, they're never going to be as passionate about it. If they find it themselves, they're like, oh my God, you won't believe what I just found. It's the most amazing band or whatever, a great song. And it's theirs in a weird way.
Sure.
So it's never going to work if you try to shove it in their face. Although we do live in a time now where things are shoved in our face. We live in YouTube time now. and things are definitely shoved in her face. The other question that came up was Amber Heard is moving for mistrial. So it came out that, yeah, I know. And listen, there's no better way to be absolved, to expunge a verdict than a technicality. Technicalities are the first thing that lawyers look for. It always, if they try to charge you in the wrong district, if there's some sort of technical error, or if any of the process is breached in a technical manner, doesn't matter if you even went up in front of the jury and admitted what you did, it can, on the technicality, it can get all thrown out. So this is a very big weapon she has in her hands now that her lawyers are after discovering. Apparently, one of the jurors who was supposed to be there was listed as being 77 years old. And the person who was there had the same name and same address, but they were 51. So they're claiming that it's a different person that went along, because the 77-year-old maybe was too old and tired to go along, and said, "Will you go along, son, in my place and pretend you're me, because I can't fucking deal with that bullshit, and I don't want to do jury duty."
I've been on a jury.
I don't
Is
know.
That possible? I don't think that's possible.
I don't know. I asked my good lawyer friend, my lawyer for years.
Me too.
Yeah, he's your lawyer now too.
We love you, Corey.
My main lawyer. I have a couple at this point, but more than a couple. But the main guy, and I think he's out. He's in New York City partying or whatever he's doing.
Good for you, man.
Good for him. But I would have loved him to come on and clarify a few things about this kind of situation. But anyway, she's moving for a mistrial. If they can prove that one of the jury was not who they said they were, that is a mistrial, that it will all be thrown out and we'll start all over again.
If that happened, though, then yes, it should be, even though it's nonsense and she's a skank box. But how is that? I mean, I served jury duty last September, and it was I have avoided jury duty my entire life, and I was on a grand jury. And if anybody doesn't know what that means for our foreign friends, grand jury is not like you sit through a trial. You indict people. So you go in there on the Monday morning, 9:00. You are presented with case one. You're shown the evidence. You meet witnesses. Guys go on the stand, and then it's all about trying to indict someone. And then you all vote on whether or not this should go to trial. And you indict the person, and they go to trial. I watched videos of guys getting shot at gas stations, like people getting their heads blown off. By the way, all in Jamaica, all of it.
All of it in Jamaica.
That's where I grew up, in Jamaica, Queens.
Extreme poverty, man. Extreme poverty.
It's not even extreme poverty. There's beautiful neighborhoods down there.
Really?
It's a lot of drug abuse and a lot of just gangs, and it's a lot of stuff. These guys have more money than you and I will ever see in our lifetimes. This one guy had a Bentley SUV, and he went to a gas station. He was mad at a guy because he was running a credit card scam, and he shot up the whole thing. Anyway, we indicted everyone. I was there for almost 2 weeks. Every single case, because the evidence was to the point. And every day we went in there, we had to show our IDs, photo IDs, all this stuff. There is no way a person was in Virginia though, right? That's where
yes, Virginia law. Yes, Rob Morrison. I'm so sorry we missed your point. Thank you very much for that point. It's up on the screen right now. It's very interesting, but we're not going to double back onto the subject. That is my fault because I missed that while you were speaking.
Militia, right? A well-formed militia. Is that the term?
Yeah. Tim, right? Why do you come back? I have to do it, Tim.
Why do you come back? You make a fool of me. I was wrong, and I just can't live with dun.
Why they come back?
Can you name that band?
You named them before, and I can't remember.
Player.
So, so isn't it And here's just the thought for bashing around. Isn't it wild to think that they might start all over again? And we will have to watch all of that shit all over again with the same witnesses, with all the same stuff. Are they going to say you had a mega pint of wine again?
You had a mega pint of wine. Did you hear about everybody? All these fans are shitting all over Amber Heard's lawn.
Oh, I did. Oh, really? Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that.
all these fans. You know, oh my God, you guys, thank you. They're shitting all over her lawn.
Oh my God.
She's
out of Aquaman too. They're replacing her.
Well, I mean,
they're I think it's what's her name? Strange cast decision from Eyes Wide Shut, Australian tall blonde.
Nicole Kidman.
They're putting her into the same scenes alongside Jason Momoa. So
wait a second. Rewind.
Aquaman.
She's now going to be an Aquaman. Nicole Kidman.
This is what I'm hearing.
She's an Oscar-winning. Why is she an Aquaman?
Yeah, why is it her?
Well, no, get some young. She's
Someone
of all
younger.
Nicole,
yes.
I love you. You're an old lady.
Yeah,
she's in her 50s.
Yeah,
they need to get some young, gorgeous. What's her face? Who's the du jour beautiful girl? She's Australian. I only know her from Pan Am, but she's gone on to do some. Who is that gorgeous?
Yeah, she's what's her name?
She was in Once Upon a Time in America. She played. She's outrageous. She's so beautiful. She played
the one who's playing Barbie right now. She's Barbie. Use your Google machine in front of you. Why don't you?
Should I? Oh fuck! I never use the Google machine. Hold on.
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, that is her. She was on a show called Pan Am, and we are aircraft aficionados. It was a terrible show with the best art design ever. It was incredible. 1950s, 60s Pan Am.
Not better than my art design right now with a fountain.
No, that's pretty great.
Did you watch waterfall underground?
Don't go.
I didn't watch it.
Waterfalls.
I did not watch that show. I was not.
It was crap.
Interested.
It was a Scooby-Doo mystery.
It's also nothing in her career. You're talking about the moment of her career.
That's where she got discovered. No.
She was discovered from Neighbours, which is a daytime show from Australia where everyone
my girlfriend, my greatest love,
her biggest role that really exploded her onto the American scene was The Wolf of Wall Street, and then she was in she's been in fucking everything ever since. Everything. She's making 12 movies a year. That woman, and she's in Barbie, which is
you gotta like Pan Am. I love
Barbie, a real Barbie with.
She doesn't look like Barbie though.
I don't think so. She's just blonde, and skinny, and pretty.
Does anyone?
She's skinny and pretty.
Don't Google this, guys.
Here's a quote for you guys. Here's a quote. Here's a hard one. Because I got them. I did the Professional last night. Here's one. She's lying. She's skinny and she's pretty and she's lying. What's that?
That sounds like Woody Allen to me.
She's lying. She's skinny and pretty and she's lying. This is resentment about her being skinny and pretty. If anyone gets that, I'm gonna PayPal you $20 right now. Of course, now they're all Googling it, so it's easy.
Google.
It's not true romance, Ray. It's a female actor delivering that line. Anyway, Margot Robbie. So you were saying, Suicide Squad. There you go. There's another.
That was just
big
shite.
It was bollocks, right?
Totally.
But anyway, they should get someone like her. But she's probably booked up for 40 years. That girl.
Find a new gal.
Yeah, find a new beautiful. Yeah, give a new girl a shot. Right. These guys are. Yeah. Well, Justin, did you use the Google machine? Justin Bailey. I'm asking Justin.
Oh, you got that. I did never. Oh, yeah. I didn't watch that. That's too druggy for me.
Oh my God, it's an amazing story. Hitchhiker's Guide is incredible.
Wow.
Oh my god! Did you ever see the original BBC one? It was
I
a
tried to
series
read the
every
book.
every week. Oh,
I
you
couldn't
did?
get through it. Yeah, I couldn't get through it. He was just such a whack job, that guy.
It was amazing. A vision of the future, how wacky it might be. The Babelfish. And now, of course, the app that translates languages on your iPhone is called Babelfish, or one of them, one of the first ones. It's the Babelfish that is found in certain parts of the galaxy. You put it in your ear and you can understand any language from around the galaxy. It's amazing. And the answer to life. Okay, here's one for you guys. Seeing as you may know Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, prove it. What's the answer to life, the universe, and everything? Hit me with it right now in the comments. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. There you go. Okay, Justin Bailey, you have it then. I'm going to send you $20. Write to me at the Time to Watch channel. Oh, they all got it. Okay. Justin, you hit it first, though.
How did everybody get that?
Because they know. They know. Okay, so clearly you're all educated on this. And that's where the band Level 42 got its name.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I was talking about them today.
Really?
Justin
Bailey, you deserve $20. I'm going to send it because you hit it first. So write to me at timelesswatchchannel.com with your PayPal address, and I will send you, because that deserves money, my friend. No money for me, O'Shane. You have great viewers. Yes, I certainly do. Sorry, you were talking about Level 42 today.
Yeah, only because
this guy knew Douglas Adam. Douglas. What's the word? Hitchhikers. Douglas Adams. Yes, I knew I thought of the right name. He knew Douglas Hans. You knew Douglas Adams. That's a lot. Sorry, what are you saying, Dirk?
I don't remember.
You said you were talking about Level 42 today.
Oh, only because they came on the music today, and I was like, you don't know Level 42? Mark King. I was talking to a guy that plays guitar, and like, that's Mark King. And he's like, who's Mark King? I was like, oh, God.
They were never big in America.
No. I need to step away from this conversation, because how can I, fawn all over Mark King when you have no idea who that is?
He one of the greatest bass players of all time. Was never big as a bass player in America, because it was Brit funk, and Brit funk is very straight, and the Americans never gravitated toward it, because the Americans had, they had Bootsy Collins, and they had all the fantastic bass players in the history of bass playing, and it was so groovy. American music had groove. It had soul and groove, whereas the British thing was straighter and tighter. And so
bass players from England always almost mimic a bass like synthesizer to me. Like
sometimes they can be very precise.
So precise.
So Mark would go like that. Whereas in America it'd be like it would be more rhythmical and syncopated and more. And
we have more black people.
There's more black. Yeah, you said it. There's much more black.
Yeah,
in it. Even the white players.
British people have been trying to play black for so long,
right?
Trying to be black. When Hendrix exploded in England, folks, not here. He exploded in Great Britain.
That's actually true.
No one was paying attention to Jimi Hendrix.
That's actually true, because the Beatles and Eric Clapton went to see him on one of his first.
Eric Clapton said, "We're fucked. We're
fucked." Yeah, it's so true. He was a kid and he was fucking playing.
Yeah, we're all
upside down guitar.
Yeah. He had a conversation with. He's got a very adversarial relationship with Jeff Beck, and it's so weird. Because Jeff Beck smokes the fucking shit out of him.
Marcus Miller, yes.
Marcus Miller, of course.
The king was Jacko.
Well, Jacko. I mean, that's a whole other world.
Yeah, and that's another world.
He goes, Jeff Beck goes, I just read an article, and Eric Clapton was like, so we're gonna go see this Jimi Hendrix guy, and Jeff Beck's like, who's that? He's like, dude, you're fucked, I'm fucked, we're all fucked.
It's so good.
So good. Imagine, but when you could see, like, I love the fact that he had the wherewithal and the state of mind to say, "Wow, I'm fucked," because Eric Clapton was the king, undisputed king. Incredible.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
So funny. I mean, I understand the whole Jocko thing. I'm not a bass player. I know you are. And you probably love him, but like his music doesn't. I mean, I would never listen to it for pleasure. It bores the fuck out of me.
I know.
But like, yeah, he's great. Sure.
We talked about this, but
Weather Report. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
John
Entwistle
sure.
played some complex bass. Of course he did. Yes.
Yeah. He's a busy player.
When we toured with the Who, we played 2 gigs with them. But it was pretty cool to play 2 gigs with the Who, right? And at the time, they had Pino Palladino. And I remember thinking, shit, I would have done a better job at doing Entwistle than Pino. Because Pino's so different. He's so liquid and so smooth. Whereas
was he playing fretless?
No, he was playing a P bass.
Was it? He mostly plays fretless. He's famous for his fretless.
He's famous with
Paul Young.
Paul Young. Sure. But no, he plays everything. He plays everything. But he had a P bass, and it was good for my generation. Talk about
who was the drummer?
Generation. It was
Ringo's kid.
Son. Ringo's kid.
Oh,
fucking
amazing.
Animal.
Jake Starkey. Yeah, it's great.
Starkey, that's him. He was an animal. There you go. Steve Croy, who was on drums.
Oh, look at that. Hey, Steve. That's what I was wondering.
It's not Steve. It's Seif. Seif. Yeah, it was phenomenal. But I remember 2 things: looking at the rack of basses, Pino's basses, and just thinking these are bass lines that I learned since I was 12 years old were played on. Like, it was very shocking to me. It was almost paralyzing. And then also thinking, he's the wrong guy. I could have done a better job with my Rick and my distortion.
He's the wrong guy. He's the
wrong guy for the job.
Wrong.
And Emma made a very good point. That's just Townsend saying, I want the fucking best British bass player. I fucking want him now, pay him whatever the fuck he wants, Wow. And that was Pino. Pino was the greatest British bass player, certainly for session. Someone like Mark King is not capable of doing all these things. He's got a specific thing, But
who do you think would have been the perfect guy to fill in for the
Who? Me. No, anyone with a distortion pedal. I mean, someone famous,
like Les Claypool, like one of those guys.
Claypool.
Do you like Primus? Do you
no,
like
I'm not
that?
a Primus guy. I know.
Me neither. I don't enjoy that either. No, I think they're goofy, and I get it. I get what they do, and that's fine. But it's too comical.
I talked to you about this before when Smashing Pumpkins bass player went missing, and they called me, and that's because they looked at Deb Hanks, who was running the studio there, Stratosphere Studio, was a big fan, and she said, you know what, the guys, Mr. North, who were working in the James E. studio right then, that bass player, he's the right man for the job, because they couldn't find her. She went missing. She was in the hotel room on heroin or something, and they called me and said, can you do it? Because they saw me with the fucking the Rick and the distortion pedal, and they went, okay, he'll fit the bill. He's the right dude, because he's got that anger. He's using a pick. He's got the right bass vibe. He's not a fucking groovy dude. He's a fucking angry dude. He's perfect. And I had to learn 5 songs in one night or whatever. But then they found her. Remember, that's the moment I almost played.
They gave her some methadone, and
they found her and brought her to. And then
that was Darcy, right? This is not
the second girl.
Oh, Melissa Aldermouth.
Yeah, it was the one who wore the wedding dress.
From Hull.
Yeah, from Hull.
Oh,
she wore the wedding dress. It was the coolest look of all time. I mean, I looked good, but I could never compete with a girl with huge mascara and a wedding dress.
Well, you could have worn that. Because look, it's all about. Look at Harry Styles is wearing dresses and makeup.
That's true, he is.
And so is the guy from Green Day, Billy Joe Armstrong. Everybody is them, they. They're all pronouns.
Yeah, pronouns, man.
They're all that now. You could create a whole new Ashina. That's your
I think
new
I
name.
may just have done that.
You
Epic
might as
Paul 179, best guitarist Gary Moore, Dave Gilmore. Don't get us onto that, man. We'll get very into. It'll
But
become
you know
a
what?
guitar discussion.
Why
Oh,
not?
God.
Because we're
Thank you.
bashing.
We're bashing, but now we've been talking about music for about. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
I mean, we talk about this on the phone when we're not on iPad.
This guy just knew he was going to start a firecracker.
No, I'm not going to. No. So it's amazing though, because you have no idea how opinionated the two of us are when it comes to that shit.
He has
plenty
of idea, and that's why he fucking asked it, because he knows we're going to go on a tangent for an hour.
I don't know. Do you like Gary Moore? Do you like Gary?
I don't like Gary Moore. He's a great guitarist and all that, but I respect him. But whatever, it's a different thing. We should do another whole other thing where it's just about Gibson guitars and guitarists and amps, and it'll be me, you, and Emmett, and then we'll talk about for 4 hours.
Jerk off to Marshalls.
Yeah, you can get very heavy on that stuff.
I am amazed though at like it almost goes back to like the Knackery Irish and shit who like you two Bono go fuck off and all that. Gary Moore. Wow, I fucking he's one of my favorite guitar players, and I don't know why he isn't. A lot of Irish folks don't love that guy. I don't know.
Is it either?
I mean, he plays blues, rock, metal. He did so many cross genres. He did like, what was the big? He had like 2 big giant pop.
Why is Ocean drinking milk? I'm not drinking milk, man. I'm having
absinthe.
I'm having a homemade margarita. I'm making margaritas tonight because it's warm here in Venice. Yes, I am deliberately dragging Dirk off the Gary Moore subject because it's extremely niche and so on. But that's okay.
Well, but our viewership went up by 30 points when we got
not since we mentioned Gary Moore. People are just clicking on because they're like, what are these assholes talking about tonight?
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we're finished with the Amber Heard.
You asked me to do. Hold on.
Yeah.
Do what you did.
Do it.
Ready? Okay.
What? There you go.
Dean Anderson, cough. Geddy Lee, my favorite bass player ever.
My second. My first is Chris Squire. Milk and alcohol, is that a thing? Do people do that?
He's the one that makes you feel Dr. Feel Good. He's the one that makes you feel all right. How about what a shitty band is Mötley Crüe? Aren't they just crap? I think so.
Yeah, I don't think they were to be taken seriously.
I know you wouldn't think that.
It was just a bit of fun.
You're like one of those musical snobs that like dabbled in metal. You're like, they're okay.
Metal was always a little weird to me.
They're okay.
Yeah, metal was always a little theater.
Some of the sickest musicians ever in the world are in metal.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Oh, somebody early at the top of the show asked me about Yngwie Malmsteen, and here's my opinion of Yngwie Malmsteen. One, he's a mega asshole. I've met him. He asked me to join his band in the late 80s, like 89, 90. And I told him out of my mouth, I said, I could make more money slicing bologna. But I was a fan of the first couple of records. And yes, he is technically a better guitar player than everyone. He is technically a better guitar player from everyone. He just chooses to suck. And that's the end of my story.
So
he chooses to suck, but he's technically capable of being better than everyone. But he sucks.
So are we finishing on the Amber Heard thing? I guess we could all be in store for a whole
would you want to finish on Amber Heard?
No, I don't want to finish on her. Not anymore, man. Somebody was saying, was it you? Yeah, it was you. You were saying the other night, like last week, like she isn't that hot. Are you joking? Or I mean, she's not anymore. But man, that was.
Who do you think's
technically one of the most beautiful women?
Or Linda Evangelista?
Linda Evangelista. Who are you even speaking about?
You don't even know who that is?
Linda Evangelista. Am I supposed to know who this is?
I would.
Oh, of course, the model from the 80s, the supermodel.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. You compare those two names like they're equals
I
and
mean, it's
opposites.
like listen, because
I
I don't want
think she's 10,000 times prettier than Linda Evangelista. I think that Amber Heard, I don't like her. She looks awful now. I think she made up a lot of that bullshit, or most of it, or all of it, or whatever. But I'm sorry, but when she hooked up with him at first in that first movie when they met or whatever, I'm sorry, I don't even fancy her. I don't even have a crush on the girl. But
No.
don't tell me that is not the most beautiful thing that ever walked the earth.
I don't think she's beautiful
technically
at all.
one of the most beautiful creatures that ever walked the earth. I mean,
no.
Okay, fine.
I mean,
agree to
like
disagree.
that, but that exactly like why you don't love Queensryche or the Dan Reed Network. Like I get it. Like you are looking at her from a completely different. That's like me saying like John Hamm.
She's the totally female John Hamm. She's the female John. You know what? She's the female.
I was like, John Hamm was the bad one because you totally get it.
She's the female Johnny Depp. You're not a fan of Johnny Depp, but Johnny Depp
don't think Johnny Depp
beautiful
is,
humans.
He looks like
that ever walked the earth.
I totally disagree.
Wow. Because you don't fancy him.
Don't fancy him.
You don't fancy him, and that's a different thing. The man, there's a reason why cameras were all over him since he was fucking born. There's a reason why he was cast in so much. He's not even that good an actor. He isn't. He's trying to be a good actor. And he's great alongside other actors, like in Donnie Brasco. He needs Lefty.
He was good in
from
that,
Mulberry Street, right?
He was good,
but he's not a great protagonist. He's not a great lead actor. No. He needed Pacino to run to rule the roost in that film. He's just a stupidly beautiful person. Even Pacino said it about it when he worked with him. He was like, I look at the guy's face. I can't fucking believe it exists.
Did you almost
the man is a perfect looking man.
Come on, do it. You almost did it. You sounded like you're about to go into a Pacino accent.
Well, it depends which Pacino. If you're talking about early Pacino,
you're
gonna put one on your back. Or if the early stuff, right? Or but everybody likes to do hoo-ha.
No, fuck that. I don't want that. The guy in The Offer. Have you watched The Offer yet?
No.
It's on Paramount, which I know you have my login, so go down. It's on there, and it's about the making of The Godfather, and it's not really well made.
You mentioned this already. Yes.
I mean, it's well done, but it's like, there's a lot of bad sets and stuff. But the guy, two things. The guy who plays Pacino is next level otherworldly. And then the guy who comes in and plays Marlon Brando, you'll just, your jaw will drop.
So it's a reenactment. Because I've seen documentaries about the making of The Godfather with the real people.
No, this is actors.
Oh, it's actors.
It's the cutie. Acting. It's the girl that you don't fancy.
Okay, so I totally it's a new
Miles
thing.
Teller.
Okay.
He plays
because I've seen the actual interviews with the real guys, and that producer guy who struggled to get the film made, and they were in cahoots with Coppola and all of those,
and the mafia,
and they gave Coppola money to make his other films that he wanted to make, his art house films and so on. Yeah. So there's impersonator. Look, here's an interesting.
There's an actor who encapsulates early Pacino to the level that you just won't believe it.
Right.
But then when they get the guy who comes in and plays Marlon Brando, you just lean back and go, fuck just that.
A funny thing here in Italy. I mean, they're such lovers of film, but they dub films, right? It's phasing away slowly now. In the past 5 or 6 years, they're beginning to move away from that. But embarrassingly, for so long, every film was dubbed. So you have like big film aficionados, and they've never heard Pacino's real voice or De Niro's real voice or Brando or anyone. They hear a dubber, and then they'll make the terrible mistake when the discussion comes up of making a horrible point that is so embarrassing of saying, out of all the dubbers, dubbers around the world, different nations, we're the best at it. I'm like, right. Don't be proud of that. That's not a cool thing.
It's not a cool thing.
Of all the rapists in this area, I'm the best rapist. Like, don't tout that thing. That's not a thing.
I find the curtain better than anyone.
Right. So, yeah. So, because to me, it kills film. It fucking kills
It
movies.
destroys cinema. It only gets the point across, and that's as far as it goes.
And
Dubbing is the worst
but they
thing ever.
fall in love with the impersonator, the dubber. They fall in love with that, and they quote it just like we quote movies, right?
Mhm.
And I remember seeing, first of all, Pacino's is nowhere near. I remember seeing the scene from Scent of a Woman. Oh, I'm just getting started, right?
That was pretty good.
And,
That's
but
pretty good.
It's not bad. I can do an okay.
That was
Pacino.
pretty
It takes
good.
a
That
little
was
bit,
pretty good.
you know. I'm in the dark here, right? But
That's pretty good.
there's a guy who does his dubbing here, and that scene is unwatchable. Where he's like, you know, if I was the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. He there's none of that big grit and passion. I remember having many discussions. Like, an actor is their face, their presence, but also their voice is such a huge part of the actor. I actually had this discussion earlier on the phone with a good friend. But voices are so important. And then I heard Marlon Brando's voice here, and it's all deep because he's a big guy, so it has to be deep.
Yeah,
and I remember having no, it wasn't, and that was the most terrifying thing about it. It was like, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding, and you asked me to do mother. It was hi, and there, and so you get this terrifying, this monstrous man, like at the end of Apocalypse Now. He's, what is your name? It has this high thing, and it's almost freaky. And you go, oh Jesus, that's freaking me out, because you expect a deep voice, but you're hearing this high voice. It's like Satan or something.
No, he
right?
had the highest voice.
Yeah. It was all up there. And I tried to explain it to the Italians. They could not fucking absorb it. They're like, how is that threatening? Surely the deeper the voice, the more threatening it is. I was like, you know how fucking basic you cunts are? That's so stupid. Like, of course, the deeper the voice, you know, the bigger. Yeah, but isn't it more like terrifying that a big man can have this high voice? Isn't there a juxtaposition that unsettles you in your chair when you hear that? They couldn't fucking absorb it. And it was
Italians
the moment
don't
when I went, Italian cinema, go away.
Did you see Bestia? That was a film from Italy a couple of years ago.
I did. I saw it, and I didn't like it at all.
It was, but the dub. We watched the dub version because it was. I think it was Siciliani, or it was whatever. But like, it was in a language that even Paul wouldn't get. So we watched it, and the guy at the
he's down there. Yeah,
it was so ridiculous. Meanwhile, Brando was like, first of all, Brando was a very sexually fluid person. His lover was Wally Cox for 35 years.
Oh.
Wally Cox was a very nerdy, weird actor. And they, you know, that Marlon Brando made no bones of it. Even though he had, like, I don't know, 10 kids, he was a very sexually fluid person.
Well, he did Last Tango in Paris, right? It was one of the first half pornographic movies on the real silver screen. He's an amazing guy, actually, politically as well.
It took me forever to like him as an actor because he's so mannered. It took me forever. Now I'm beyond sold. I'm beyond sold on his genius. I just used to think, you know, I could have been a contender, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I mean, not The Godfather notwithstanding, because that's just, but I watched all the old films, you know, and it took me a while because that particular, the actor studio, it's a very unusual method. You know, it is called method acting.
Stanislavski method.
Stanislavski, yeah, sure. So it was.
That's difficult. What I studied when I did acting classes.
Oh, you did? Yeah, well,
years ago in Ireland. It was Lee Strasberg. Method. Yeah.
And Lee Strasberg's sister was the one that co-opted Marilyn Monroe and fucked up her whole life and made her miserable and ruined her relationships with people. She was a big deep dyke and Can I say that on TV? Oh, she's a big lesbian.
She's a big
and
dyke. It's all right,
dyke.
man.
And I'm
Our audience
kidding.
are
I'll say
fine with
whatever the
that
fuck I want.
terminology. Yeah.
She was a big dyke, and she was so possessive of Marilyn. I really believe that's one of the reasons why Marilyn was. I mean, I don't know the end of Marilyn's life, but Marilyn came a very long way as an actor, as an artist, from her ingenue days to
Hey,
being.
look, we're canceled. We're canceled.
Okay, yay! You know what? That's what we've been hoping for. Have you ever seen The Misfits?
What an honor. I have not seen The Misfits.
Okay, so homework for next week is watch The Misfits. It is one of the most. It's John Huston directed it.
Uh-huh.
It's Marilyn. It is what's his face? Rhett Butler. What's his name? I'm an old man now. What is that? It's Montgomery Clift, Ned Beatty, Eli Wallach, and what's his name? Sorry.
Steve Croy just made
Rhett Butler.
A very
Clark
interesting
Gable.
point
Clark
here.
Gable.
Steve Croy said Ocean's Marlon Brando.
Not all that different.
Like Mike, because Mike Tyson but he had the lisp. He has the lisp, but it is the same effect because Mike Tyson is such a fierce bulldog of a person, but he has that high pitch and he has the lisp thing. It's kind of freaky when you hear him because you expect him to go, hello. You're expecting some sort of crazy
Suck
voice.
my cock.
Yeah, but you hear this high-pitched thing, and it's almost like a terrifying thing to hear that, man.
It is. It's scary. It's actually scary.
The dub George Clooney.
I watched that. I watched there was a documentary on
movie
all
about
the different people.
Dedicated actors that dub George Clooney. Yeah, because the dubbers are well known, and what happens to a lot of these actors, very embarrassingly, they come to Italy and they meet their dubber who's been dubbing them for years. Now, here's an even worse point. Those dubbers get jobs across certain multiple actors. So the dubber for De Niro in Italy also dubs Sylvester Stallone and other popular actors. What? And they know him. He's famous and they love his performances. I was at a dinner table a few years back in Vicenza where they all start quoting the Joe Pesci scene from Goodfellas. What, am I funny to you? I can't really do
funny,
it.
ha.
Funny, ha. Yeah. What do you mean? How am I fucking funny to you? That whole scene, that hilarious scene that we all know, right? They were all doing it in Italian. And I was just so weirded out. I was like, oh, this is so weird. Like, how can they not know the real one? And I tried to kind of say, don't you want to hear the real actor say? And they weren't interested. And the next day I was like texting them all the clip on YouTube going, this is the real thing. And only one of them wrote back and, oh, that was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. The rest of the guys ignored it.
What?
Ignored it.
Why?
I believe it's the same part of the brain that I come up against with people who are politically different to me, who just can't hear the message. And I think there's a part of the brain that just goes la 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 la, and they don't want to know. They ignored it because you know what? Their world doesn't make sense. If they accept it and go, oh shit, the original is better.
If you haven't guessed by now, Oshin and I have been trying to draft all of you into Scientology.
Yeah, we're trying to bring you in.
He's an OT9. I'm just a 7.
Scent of a Woman, Pacino. There you go. Kevin
Loud
Crawford
noise.
World.
Because I brought my espresso machine into my room.
Oh, I love it. Having an espresso.
Yeah.
So
I had a couple of wines in there.
Yeah, Scent of a Woman. That Scent of a Woman is classic Pacino. Boo-ha!
I don't enjoy that movie at all. I don't like that Pacino. I like a Serpico, Cruising, The Godfather. You ever see Cruising? You ever see it?
Yeah. That's early stuff. Well,
that is a scary movie.
He was squeaky.
That is one of the scariest movies ever made.
Attica. He was squeaky in Godfather too.
Oh, he's very squeaky.
Yeah. Can I get a straight answer?
Yeah, can we talk for a minute about your favorite auteur?
Woody?
Yeah. Guess what I tried to watch the other day? A film I've tried to watch many times.
Which one?
I tried to watch Annie Hall.
Now you have my full attention.
I know. So I started watching Annie Hall. I was on my own. And I was like, I really need to see this film. I've seen them all pretty much, but I hate Diane Keaton. I just hate her as an actress. I think she's the worst. I hate watching her act. I don't like.
Well, that's going to get in the way now.
It's in the way.
Like it was in the way with Interstellar.
Dying through all of the
because you don't like Matthew McConaughey, and it got in the way with Interstellar.
Got in the way. I just don't like.
Fucking got in the way. Like
roller coaster. They live under the
singers
cyclone.
Get in your way. You don't like a show if the lead singer isn't amazing. You're pissed off the fucking Roger Waters is dubbing, even though he's 800 years old. And Interstellar was ruined.
John Bon Jovi's not lip syncing. He's sounding like crap.
You should have loved Interstellar, but you didn't love it because you don't like Matthew McConaughey.
I liked it the second time.
Okay, so what happened? Tell me.
I loved all the Woody Allen shit, and I hated all the Diane Keaton shit. Carol Kane, I was like, oh my God, she's the funniest person ever. Because I remember when she was on Taxi, and she was a genius. And Carol Kane, she died very young. She was a very funny actress. So I'm enjoying all that. I'm like, oh no, there's Diane Keaton again. Fuck. Every time she showed up.
Some of the greatest Diane Keaton of all time is in that when she goes, all right, well, la-di-da. She does that whole la-di-da scene. That's one of her greatest moments in cinema.
She's such a bad actress. I just don't like her as an actress. She ruins everything for me.
So she's
always Diane Keaton. She's always Diane Keaton. She's never ever acting. She's just being Diane Keaton. Even
you can say the same with Woody. You can say the same with Woody.
That's okay because it's Can we talk about? Do you think Interiors is his greatest film?
His greatest serious film.
I think his greatest film is Hannah and Her Sisters.
That's in the middle. That he has several genres because he's a true auteur. He has slapstick comedy. He has dark comedy,
Sleeper,
black comedy,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
He has Sleeper, slapstick. He has his 80s period that he did things like Husbands and Wives.
That's a good one.
And
Broadway Danny Rose, fun, great.
Hannah and Her Sisters, and so on. These are certain moments. He's like Picasso. He had a blue period, a rose period, cubism, right?
He's got a new period too. I mean, I think Vicky Cristina Barcelona is a masterpiece. People disagree with me. I liked Match Point a lot. I love Cassandra's Dream. Great.
Interiors is one of the great, not just one of his greatest films. It's one of the greatest films ever made. Interiors is
very tough.
At a level. That's at a level. It's very difficult to watch, but so is
very, very hard.
So is Silence of the Lambs because it's about a serial killer. Like there are hard films to watch. It doesn't mean they're bad films. It's a tough film.
No, it's tough. It took me 3 viewings to get through Interiors. It was so upsetting to me.
Yeah, it's super upsetting. It's about loneliness,
super upsetting,
loss,
and the selfishness,
obsession, it's about, oh my God, it's about so much stuff. The greatest part of that is when the ex-husband comes over, or the still husband comes over to say hello. She gets all built up, going, oh, he's coming over. Maybe there's hope he's going to, we're going to get back together. But he just comes over for a formal visit, has tea, just talks about the regular pleasantries, and then says, well, it was great to see you. Gail, I think is the name of the character. And we'll talk again soon. And then he leaves and she's all smiles. And then it goes straight to her taping up the windows and doors because she's going to turn on the gas and commit suicide. I'm like, oh my God, Woody, you make people who are trying to make horror and thriller look like amateurs. That is one of the most terrifying scenes of any film ever made. And it's Woody Allen. Sure. I mean, the guy's genius is beyond belief, and I can't say enough good things about his art ever. The guy's fucking unbelievable. It's also Geraldine Page, that actress, is one of the greatest I've ever seen.
I have a friend, and Louisa, as you know my friend Louisa, who's an actor, and she's a brilliant, one of the smartest, funniest people we'll ever on the show one day. She's an amazing a wealth of knowledge and opinion, and she's great. She hates Geraldine Page.
What is that?
I don't know. Something to explore when she visits the channel. But like when she said that to me, she does not care for her. What was it? The trip to Bountiful was like her big moment, right? That she won an Academy Award for the trip to Bountiful, right?
Are you right about that? I
was,
don't know.
That was the big Geraldine Page.
Hans is saying playing it again, Sam. What a genius movie, of course. And that was as he bridged from slapstick over into regular comedy, because a lot of his stuff was very slapstick, like The Sleeper and so on. But playing it against Sam, one of those classics. I believe if you want to introduce somebody to Woody Allen, you should begin with that movie. Ease them into it. Ease them in. Like, don't start with Hannah and her sisters, or certainly not Interiors or Stardust.
Interiors is something you play for them
September.
Last.
Yeah. Oh. Interiors is like the highest level, the deepest level you go, right? Such brilliance. I love the guy. I know lately he's getting old. He's getting very old, but every now and then he does make a masterpiece. And
listen, man, when you hang around this planet long enough, you're bound to fuck it up in some way. People are,
especially when you make as many movies as he does.
Makes a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I was 5 feet away from him and ScarJo. I was at my old job and we were out like having a smoke break. I don't even know what we were doing, but I was outside with my friend Chris, and we were like, you remember that place. So it's like halfway up the block and we're on the stairs, and this van pulls up and Woody Allen jumps out with Scarlett Johansson, and they're filming a scene for the movie that turned out to be Scoop.
Oh, yes.
And they're filming and we're like, what the fuck? They film this scene, they get in the van and they take off.
Yeah, because he's real. Yeah, he just wants to get the job done. He doesn't need anything. Yeah,
5 feet away.
Him. He walked past us in Central Park one time, and he was with Sun Yi. Yeah, and I was with my family, extended family, and so on. They were over for Emmett's wedding, and Woody Allen walked past me, and I'm like, oh my god,
you met Peter Gabriel. That's better.
Didn't meet him properly. I bumped into him and spoke to him for a second, but it wasn't a handshake. Spoke to him.
Yes, the children.
Yeah, it was like, what did he say? Oh, I was like, yeah. And he looks at me and, oh yeah. That was in FAO Schwartz, the toy store, and his kid went running away. Come back, my love.
That's amazing.
There's a good question. The last syllable is ScarJo as luminous in person. You're a big fan of hers, right?
Yes.
You like her.
She was astonishing.
What do you think of the guy she's with now, Colin Jost? Colin Jost from
he makes her laugh. Like most girls, I second guess their most beautiful girls who, I mean, he's not a physically attractive man. I mean, to some he might be, but a lot of women say he makes me laugh. That's an old adage. Is he? Who was she married to before? She was married to. I don't think he's great looking either. But
wasn't she with Jude Law or someone like that?
No,
she went for the handsome for a while.
Now, who's the guy that has Mint Mobile?
I don't know. Use your Google machine that's sitting right in front of you.
He was.
Because you're making references, you should be Googling these things to help us. Diane Keaton is amazing, said British. She loves Diane Keaton.
Pat. Knock yourself out.
I like her too.
The guy that he was the Green Lantern.
Oh, that dude. Yeah. The name
she was
doesn't.
Married,
Ryan Reynolds. That's not a guy, but there's a guy who doesn't have a good voice. He's super handsome. He's super fit.
High and super crap.
He's fucking hilarious. That guy. That guy is super funny. I don't know why he doesn't do more comedy.
He must have a really small
serious comedy.
Holy crap! How did that beautiful union?
His
great looking
is
dude.
So high. It's so high. His voice is so high pitched. It's kind of like, oh man, what a shame. I was talking about this earlier on the phone about because the Tudor event was the other day, for the new Tudor watch that just came out, and there's lots of video footage of David Beckham. And it's a joke that goes around. David Beckham's such a handsome dude, cool, fucking hard looking guy, like cool, and a great footballer, actually.
And he sounds like such an actor.
I'm so happy to be here. It's just a squeaky British
The
East London.
worst. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
it's
a
like,
real East End, just
I'm
kind of
really
real
delighted to
knacker.
be here. Fantastic. It's
Camden.
fucking
Yeah.
great. And it's like, oh, Jesus, what a turn off.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth and just smile.
Just look good, because he's a
to
great
look
looking
good.
fella. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beautiful looking guy, and his
Yeah,
voice
he is.
just kills it. It's like bursting
The
a
tattoos
balloon, man.
ruin it, though, don't they? Fuck.
Now, some girls like tattoos like that, especially on a guy. Look, on a guy,
People
if
are
you're
out of
hard-
control with the tattoos now. There's too much. You know what the worst part is? The new trend is, I have a tattoo, so don't anybody make fun of me. I have one. Is like the
I did
sporadic.
not know
ones.
that.
You knew I had one tattoo. I have
Where
one
is
tattoo.
it?
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah. I have that because it was drawn for me on our very first Valentine's Day, and it was drawn on a Valentine's card, and I had a tattoo in 1989. That was the end of it. I've never gotten another tattoo, nor will I ever get one. I got one, and that was it. But now you see people with like a pretzel and a thing, and like they're not like works of art. They're like sporadic dots of art. They're like, spots, splotches. Yeah. And like it's such an ugly look. Like the guy from that's banging Kim Kardashian now.
Yes.
What's his name?
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson. His tattoos are gross. People get all these, like Lady Gaga's got a lot of really ugly tattoos. Like if you're like David Lee Roth, you ever see David Lee Roth? What he did? Tattooed his whole body. But it's because he's a master of every discipline of Asian martial arts. All of them,
really?
All of the stuff. Oh yeah, he's like infinite degree of black belt in every discipline. He went to this guy who lives on a mountain, and his whole body tattooed, and it's the most beautiful art you've ever seen. But one guy's got like a slot machine and a lottery drawing and a pretzel and a motley. Yeah, look, that's happening now. Everybody's got these ugly tattoos. It used to be sleeves. Now
some people they go all in. They go heavy. Remember that girl Cheryl? That is one of the most stunning women on earth. She's a British
Mary
singer.
Ryan went all in.
Oh yeah, your friend Mary Ryan. There's Cheryl.
I know Cheryl.
She's oh my God, what a stunning creature. She went all in, and she got all the way her back. Her entire ass is tattooed.
Cheryl Cole. Is she all
Cheryl
tattooed?
Cole. I mean, come on, blessed with like perfect looks, but in complete.
See, I don't think that girl's good looking at all.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't know. You're out.
No, because I don't want to bang her.
Come on.
I can't judge beauty.
So millions.
Gay men are the arbiters of beauty, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I guess they are. But so millions of men are wrong.
It's not
all
our
fan base are wrong. All our fan base are wrong.
There.
That's not a pretty girl. You're kidding me.
She's just very artificial to me.
And she's not artificial in any way. It's completely natural. But she is.
I smell defensiveness.
Well, yeah, because I've been paying attention for a while. The second I spotted this creature, I was like, "Oh my dear God!" But she went for the whole back tattoo. The joke actually is it's not back. It's not just back. It's like her entire ass all the way down to her like back of her knees. And the joke is that she actually paid. She paid. Yeah, it does. She paid, because imagine you're lucky enough to be in bed and like you turn her around and you have to look at a fucking tattoo. I'd be like, I would love to see what was behind that tattoo. Like, I'm not staring at the real thing anymore. Anyway, getting a tad vulgar here, but
that's okay.
The joke is the dude was paid. The tattoo artist who tattoos Cheryl Cole's ass.
Yeah.
Asked for money. Whereas most tattoo artists,
did he really?
Yeah, he did. He was paid well, but most tattoo artists would have been like, "Wait, you want me to spend hours on end on Cheryl Cole's naked ass?
Why wouldn't he do it for
I'll
nothing?
do that for free." I'm not into the
that's not your
tattooing,
thing.
but some people are into it. I always look at it like this, right? If you're a dude and you're ripped, if you're Anthony Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers or something,
sure,
go right ahead, do whatever the hell you want. But if
Yeah.
you're some beautiful woman, like a beautiful creature, please don't spit on that like beautiful thing you were given. So
Yeah.
don't get a neck tattoo or a
Ooh, the
like a
face
woman's
tattoos.
neck is
The
so
neck is so
beautiful. Can you
beautiful.
imagine like a
Like a
big
gazelle.
blob of horse shit on there?
Yeah.
It's like
I
there's so
mean,
much you know, calf muscles and ankles. They're so elegant to me. What, you want to put a blob of
I'm with you on that.
nonsense on there?
I just think it's, I don't
Why
like
do
tattoos
that?
on women. I think they belong on sailors.
I agree.
I don't think they belong on women. I think you're just like my Mary Ryan is my oldest friend in the whole wide world, and I fucking adore her. I'm like, all right, she's 60 now.
Wow.
Shit.
Oh, look. Steve said he's a sucker for women with full sleeves.
You're a
How can you be a
fucking
sucker for that?
pervert.
That is bizarre stuff, man. Okay, fair enough.
God,
There's something for
you
everyone out
dirty
there. But I'm also the
perv.
guy who said I'd still go for Amber
That's what
Heard.
makes the
So
world go
clearly,
around, man.
yeah.
It
There has
is.
to be a type for everyone
Salma
out
Hayek.
there.
Now, I think she's fucking stunning? Do you think she's
Yes,
attractive?
she's stunning.
Yeah, and
You know,
she's
she
what a
gave me
body on her too.
Yeah,
Jeez.
beautiful. She gave me the eye once. It was a very proud moment.
Did you turn to stone instantly?
Oh yeah, I got out of a taxi, and she was sitting outside Serafina on 73rd and Madison. I got out of a taxi, and she was sitting by herself. Maybe whoever was with her was in the bathroom or something, and she fucking took a good fucking strong look at me. I swear to God, and I was like,
Oh,
ooh, and I was like, ooh, that's Selma.
why didn't you
Hayek.
make that happen?
I know I should have just walked right. Had I had the courage I have now, man. You know, as men get older,
Yeah.
they get more. I remember being stopped by a guy on the bus years ago in Ireland. I mean, a million years ago, thousands of years ago. And I was a very young man. I was very pretty back then. It was before I discovered Scotch. And this old man stops me on the bus. He's on the bus and he grabs me by the arm. He goes, all the women, look at them all. They're all beautiful. Every single one. They're all beautiful. Don't let anything hold you back. You see a nice girl, say hello to her. They're all beautiful, he said. He was an old drunk man on the 29A going back to Donamead. And yeah, and I remember going, God, that's so profound from such a weird source. He's right. Every woman in the world is absolutely magnificent and beautiful.
Sure.
If you just pay attention for 5 seconds. And as you get older men are more, they're more forward. They're running out of time. They see the beautiful woman. They'll grab their hand and kiss it and go, you're beautiful. If younger, handsomer men had all that courage and all that decorum and all of that grace, things would be very different in the world. But we don't have it, I'm no longer part of that bunch. But yes, going full circle to Selma Hayek, I would have totally put whatever I was doing, getting out of that taxi, probably to go do a computer deal or something. I would have put it off for 5 minutes and actually said, "Are you by yourself, Selma? Lovely to meet you," and at least shaking her hand. And
I wouldn't have called her Selma. I would have just been like thinking she was a nobody. I don't think that would have been a boo-boo to do.
You think it's going to rain today? Or something else. But yeah. What a woman. Beautiful. That's a lot of woman.
And funnier than fuck.
She's
so funny.
Yeah.
That when she was on 30 Rock, her and Alec Baldwin were gold, comedy gold.
They did a film together.
They did, and it wasn't a great movie.
No, but they were great.
The chemistry was
they were great. Yeah.
I watched it just for the two of them because he was like the ultimate ride in his day, and she's still an absolute. She's outrageous, that girl. Now, she married Francois Printemps from Printemps, from the guys that won't Gucci. And it's called Kering now. They changed the name of the company. But he knocked up Linda Evangelista, who we spoke about earlier.
Oh.
While they were married. And she was like, go ahead. That's fine. Because he's worth billions and billions of dollars. So she's like, buy me something special. You knocked up your girlfriend.
Right.
So he bought her some now pay. That's what she did. Now pay. Yeah, that's what she did.
Smart
So
woman.
he acknowledged the kid with Linda Evangelista, and he supports them both, even though she's richer than fuck. But his queen is Salma Hayek, and he got her some ring that was worth something like $100 million.
Fat
It's
fucker.
ridiculous.
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
thank you. That was that makes it
She's like,
all right.
We're good.
I love it.
We don't have such power in this world. We don't have it.
No, we don't. No.
No.
Neither of us. No.
People love to say that, like women, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, if you're a girl and you're beautiful and you know how to play it, man, you can destroy
if you know
us.
what to do, yes.
Yeah, because we are men and we are dumber than you. We are just the worst.
It's
We have
true
nothing.
that
We
even
are.
the smartest of men, the most distinct and powerful and smartest of men, just melt to shit in the face of a beautiful woman. A
Of
beautiful,
course they will.
be her stoic beautiful, statue type beautiful, or sexy kitten beautiful, whatever she is,
Whatever.
will reduce a brilliant man, a genius man, whoever it is, to nothing in 5 seconds. It's one of the great
seconds.
things. Yeah, in 1 second. It's one of the great things about the world. She can just
instantly
reduce him to
disarmed.
nothing. Instantly. Yeah. All his intellect, all his power, all his money, everything, his opinions, they fall to nothing in the face of a stunning creature.
Sure. Yeah.
So
everything
I'm going to wrap
you've learned.
It up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
We just went over 2 hours, so
there we go, kids.
That's an Eyebashers episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for the.
We had fun. We agreed. We disagreed.
Yeah.
I only said cunt twice.
You only said cunt twice.
I did. I love that.
Not bad.
It's all right. You're an Irish person. You say cunt all the time.
Not a bad.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Doesn't mean I don't get affected by the word.
It's not an effective word. It shouldn't be affect people. But anyway, thanks everybody.
All right, guys. Thanks for those who held on and enjoyed it. Happy Saturday night to you all. Had a lot of fun. Hope we didn't offend too many people, but certainly hope we offended a few.
I hope we offended.
Otherwise, we're not doing our job properly. And we'll see you guys next Saturday night at the same time, same place. Subscribe to the
same
Eyebashers.
Bash time, same Bash channel.
Yes, the Eyebashers, please, guys. There is the link.
That's great.
Right there in the chat. Come over to the Eyebashers. Eventually, I won't be doing this on the Timeless Watch channel at all because it is not watch related. So, want to see us talk about other stuff? Eyebashers is where to find it. And have a great night, all you bashies.
Same Bash time, same Bash channel. Do you know that?